Hi everybody, today we're doing a vegetarian lasagna. So if you have any customers they don't like to eat meat, they can do the vegetarian lasagna. We only use vegetables. If you wanted to do the just with the meat, it doesn't matter, you do the same things, just you need to fry the meat first and then you're gonna put the layers. So I'm going to do exactly the same things what I'm doing with the vegetables. You just swap it with the beef, minced beef or anything like that. Okay, so what we got in here, the ingredients you need, of course you need the pasta sheet. So it can be any pasta. If somebody has a gluten tolerance, you can get the gluten-free pasta sheets. Then we're gonna use some lasagna sauce. Also we're gonna use some, this is a pesto. It's a basil and nuts mixed with a little bit of olive oil. And then you have here cottage cheese, and we're using a cheddar cheese as well. Okay, so cheddar cheese, cottage cheese, pesto, lasagna sauce, and paste. You need a little bit of dry, like oregano or thyme. So we have dried thyme today. You need some vegetables. Vegetables, you can use any type of vegetables. Today we're using some carrots, butternut squash, peppers and onion. Also we have some mushroom and some spinach. So I'm going to do the layer. This is a very simple, easy way to do the vegetables. So what I'm going to do, I preheat this on a temperature of between 105 to 110 for about 5 minutes. So when the heat, I can feel the heat, then I'm going to add a little bit, very small sauce in it. So I'm just going to have a little bit of lasagna sauce. I'm just going to go in bottom of the skillet. This is the skillet. It doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be a lot. Just a little bit. You just wet the bottom of your skillet. Okay. So and then I'll mix it. That's it. So about 3 spoons I use. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of vegetables. So I'm going to use some carrots. As you can see, it's very nice and easy. Using comb number 1 to grate the carrots. If you don't have the Saladmaster machine, you know what you need to do. If you are part of our customers and then you are not part of the business, it's very simple and easy. You need to recommend 3 people and you will get one of these when we go and cook for all the 3 people. So make sure you have one of these at home. It's really helpful. I'm going to use butternut squash. As you know, butternut squash has a very hard skin, so you're going to use it skin side down, and then nicely you're asking Saladmaster to help you. So if you are nice to Saladmaster, Saladmaster is always helping you. So we put in a skin side down, then you can use the safeguard and you push it down and everything comes off nice and easily. Okay, so we got some couple of different vegetables. Then also what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some onion. So I want to fry my onion in the bottom. So I changed the cone. You can use any type of cone. I want very thin onion. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use cone number. What is it, guys? You should remember.
4.
Cone number
4.
4.
4 slice.
6, 7,
4.
5.
4 is slicing.
4.
What slice is 5?
Well done, well done. Cone number 4. Yeah. So we're going to use cone number 4 because it's easier. It's very nice and thin and slice. Yeah. So you can use it inside. You can do the onions or outside. So that should be enough. So we're going to mix some onion and the carrots and some vegetables all together. Sauce is already there. The skillet is a little bit hot. It's not too hot, but it's just warm. You know, I left this for 10-15 minutes. I spread the vegetables all over the skillet. Just make sure everywhere has some vegetables. You don't want to be any empty spaces in there. As you can see, guys, you know, nicely done. You're gonna add a little, just very small peppers as well. For the pepper, as you know, you can use always cone number 3. Okay, cone number 3 is the best one for the pepper. Okay, nice and easy. We're gonna add some in there, and then we're gonna move on. Right. So you can add cabbage if you like to. Sometimes people they like cabbage, so they add cabbage in the bottom. They had onion, courgettes you can add. So it doesn't have to be exactly what I use. So you can use any of those. Now it's the time to use the pasta sheet. So the pasta sheet, you grab one. Normally you can do 3 layers. You need to break down the edge, right? It's very simple and easy. You break the edge and then you put the one in the middle, right? So I start from the middle. Never ever overlap your pasta sheet. If you do that, then you're gonna have a hard time. So always leave some space, okay, for your pastas. Never overlap each other because they won't cook properly. Okay, so just gonna break some and then I'm gonna use it on the side, so doesn't have to be as I mentioned. Don't let it overlap each other, otherwise it won't cook properly. Okay, so we have that. Now you need to wet your pasta sheet. So how can you wet the pasta sheet? Is very simple. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add some on the top with the sauce. Just use your spoon, nicely go over it. Make sure all over the pasta is wet, so it helps them to cook very nicely through. If you don't do that, your pasta won't cook properly, pasta sheets. Okay, so make sure all of the pastas got a little bit of sauce. That helps them to be nicely cooked through. Okay.
The temperature she wanted to show. It's already set.
Okay, so if you would make with the meat, you like to have it with the meat instead of the vegetables in the bottom. You're using first you are frying your minced meat in the bottom, then you take some of the meat out and you layer it on top of the pasta sheet. Very simple and easy. Exactly what I'm gonna do now. So next layer, what I'm gonna do, I want to do some spinach. So I'm gonna add some spinach in here. Very nice and easy. So all the spinach on top. Don't you worry when it comes up, don't you think it's full. It's not, it's all gonna go down. It's vegetables. Remember, this is vegetable, it's not meat. Okay, so nicely you add your nice spinach in there. And now we're gonna add another layer. Same, you break the edge, so it helps to fit very nicely. So you should be able to get 3 in one row. Okay, so nicely done. You can buy, it doesn't have to be a special pasta sheet, any pasta will do for you. We're using an Italian one. It's a good quality pasta, it just gives more flavor to your food. Now, next thing we want to do, this time we don't use too much sauce, because what I'm going to do now, you're going to add your cottage cheese, right? And we're going to add the next layer. So you don't need, this is only to flavor the sheet. So you're going to see in a minute. So the next layer, what I'm doing, I'm not putting too much, because cottage cheese is already has plenty of water, so it's gonna be too much water if you add too much sauce. Okay, just gonna need a little bit more pasta here. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, make sure you're not overlapping your pasta. So now we're gonna add the cottage cheese. Okay. Don't you worry about the cheese. So whole cottage cheese goes on top. Okay. And then what we're gonna do on top of the cottage cheese, we're going to add the mushrooms. So cottage cheese doesn't have too much fat. It's like a mozzarella cheese. It's very nice, fluffy, and it's light. If you don't want it with the fat, again you can buy the light one, and you can use the light one for yourself. So cottage cheese all over. Yeah, make sure again your cottage cheese goes all over the pasta, so you just make it nice and wet. So don't you worry if there is not much cheese. That should be enough cheese for the lasagna. Now what we're going to do next, we're going to use some mushroom. For the mushroom, again, you can use cone number 3, you can use cone number 2, you can use cone number 5, or you can use cone number 4. So what you're going to do, you're going to add your mushroom in there, and you just go nicely over. You just slice it for you nicely on the top. So now we're going to do the next layer. So make sure the mushroom is spread all over the dish, and then nicely we're going to do the next layer for you. So that's for mushroom. So I'm going to put the next layer. So for the next layer, we're going to do the, again, break the edge. So you get in the 3 in the middle. The time. Now I'm gonna add some more sauce. Try to not to use the same spoon you use for the cheese, because your sauce is going off if you want to keep it in the fridge. So just going to be nicely done. That's the last one, last layer for us. So I'm gonna do some nice cheddar cheese. That's the last one we put on the top. If you would like to have more layer, you can. So with the beef or with the lamb or any other minced meat, so instead of the vegetables layer, you mix your minced meat with some pepper and some mushroom if you like it. So you make your sauce, then you take your sauce out, you leave some in the bottom, and you start your layers from the bottom. If you like to have a layer in the bottom, you can use some sauce, more sauce in the bottom first, then you can add your pasta sheet at the beginning. So your pasta sheet will be in the bottom as well. But for the vegetables, try to put the vegetable in the bottom. Vegetable has plenty of water. If you use the pasta sheet in the bottom, then it become very soggy. So that's why I didn't use the pasta sheet in the bottom. Okay, so the sauce is ready. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna shred the cheese, cheddar cheese on top, and we're gonna just make a nice design on top for you. You're gonna see cone number 1 we're gonna use for cheddar cheese. This is just the mature cheddar cheese we're using today. So just trying to spread the cheese nicely. Make sure you give a good amount of cheese, so this cheese gonna melt and go down. It become really nice. So if you see, I haven't added any seasoning. Cheese, the both cheese we use, they have kind of salt in it, so you don't need to add any seasoning. If you want some pepper, you can do some peppers in there, but it's the vegetables, they have plenty of flavor. If you're making mince with the meat, you need to season your meat while you are frying your minced meat in there, and then you'll be fine. So you see, I'm using plenty of cheese. You just make it very nice, you know. You need to use a good amount of cheese on top. If you don't use it, you don't get that flavor, nice flavor. So it's gonna be a beautiful Italian vegetable lasagna for you guys. I hope you enjoy it. When it's ready, we're gonna come back and we show you also what came out. So normally it takes about 45 minutes for the lasagna to set, something between 30 to 45 minutes, so it depends. The heat you're using is a maximum of 125 to 130. Then as soon as you hear it start clicking, you turn it down to 95 degrees. So don't keep it too long. Your vegetables is gonna be burnt in the bottom if you are leaving it too long on temperature of 120. 125 is maximum. Don't use too much high heat, it's not good for the vegetables. I have some sauce, I want to caramelize my vegetables in the bottom, so that's why for 5 minutes only I use 120, and as soon as I hear the click in the bottom, 120, 125 you can use. As soon as I hear the click, after 5 minutes I turn it down. Don't keep it too long. If you want to design the top, just use a couple of leaves for yourself on top, and then if you have a red pepper, just get some red pepper and nicely dice it, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to put it on in a minute. So just going to get the chopping board.
Yummy, yummy.
So as you can see, nicely everything is going on. So we're just going to get some pepper. So that's nicely done. You got nice beautiful flour, yeah. So, and then the pesto, just get, there is some kind of like a nice basil oil, yeah. It's not the oil, it's the basil mixed with the pesto. So just gonna, if you want it, you can add some in the middle as well. It's just to flavor the cheese, and it's melting down for you. So it's very nice. If you have allergy to nuts, this is contain nuts, so I won't suggest it. You can make it at home. Just get some basil and then some olive oil and blend it together, and you're gonna have this. But this is mixed with the nuts. It's very nice, tastes very nice. It gives a very nice flavor to your food. I'm just gonna use a little bit on the sides. So when it's ready, you're gonna see it's going to be flavorsome. It's gonna be nice. If you're not here with us, make sure you do this at home and enjoy it. Give us some feedback. Okay, fantastic. So your beautiful lasagna, vegetable lasagna, is ready to be closed. So we're gonna just put the lid back on, and then we're gonna set it for 45 minutes. So you might not need 45 minutes, but you need to check it. So what I'm gonna do, so now is 125. So as I mentioned, I'll set it now. You press that one for the setting. So we want the temperature of 125, but I only want it for about 5 minutes. So this is 10 minutes. I'm gonna put it for now for 30 minutes, and I'm gonna check it. But after 5 minutes, so in 25, when it's gone to 25, I'll turn down the temperature and I'll show it to you how you can do it. Okay, we'll be back soon. Thank you.